Welcome to One Insight. My name is Rich Litvin. I grew up in London and I now live in LA. And this is a podcast for extraordinary top performers and their coaches. You see, I've coached some of the most successful and talented people on the planet. I can see what most people cannot see, and I dare to say what most people wouldn't dare to say. And what I know about success is that on the other side of it, it can be incredibly lonely. You can feel more of an imposter the more successful you become. And when you're the most interesting person in the room, you're actually in the wrong room. Clients who are more successful, more intelligent, and wealthier than you need your support more than they know and more than you can imagine. I coach around insight. Life looks one way, something happens, and the world looks different, and your entire world changes. It can happen in an instant. And this podcast is called One Insight because a single insight can change everything. I think the biggest challenge that people have around fees is that they tie their fees to their worth, which means their self-worth, which means they feel great if somebody pays actually any fee. They feel better if the fee is higher. They feel worse if it's lower. And their whole self-worth is tied to this, which relates to their confidence and their professional self-esteem. They don't have high professional self-esteem in the first place, so they go on this emotional roller coaster around the money that's coming in. So let me set some distinctions around fees. First of all, I do tend to talk about high fees because I'm always drawn to the upper right quadrant of the graph. That interests me. There's nothing inherently good or bad about charging high fees, and it's definitely not for everybody. Be careful you don't get swayed to do something that goes against your own value system. You've got to decide what's right for you. I'm happy to pay a lot of money for great service, whether it's in a restaurant, for a massage, whatever it is, for a great service, I will pay a lot of money. So I walk my talk on that. I'm not trying to get high fees, but I'm trying to skimp and save in what I spend my money on. Spending great money on great service is something I'm happy to do. So you've got to check in on your value system. If you're always skimping and saving, if you never give a good tip for great service, then it's going to be hard for you to embody that yourself and ask people for high fees. You don't really believe in it. So you've got to check out what's your value system around what you're willing to invest. Number two, high fees, any fee, has nothing to do with your innate self-worth, nothing to do with your value. They're completely disconnected. Every human is innately priceless. There are people who are born in Somalia in the middle of a drought and a crisis. They're no more worthwhile or less worthwhile than you in the lifestyle that you were brought up in. And yet they'll probably never make as much money as you simply from where they were born. Some of you, I've got no doubt, grew up in poverty and transcended that. Others grew up in middle class or even very wealthy upbringings. It makes you no more or less innately valuable than anybody else. There's a sketch on YouTube I like. A guy goes into the parking garage and he's got his ticket and he walks up to the counter. He says, I want to get validated. And the guy behind the booth looks him in the eyes and says, you're a good-looking, generous, sweet man. And there are lines of people queuing up behind him to get validated. It's what we want. We want to be validated in life. We want someone to acknowledge who we are. Well, I'll do that for you right now. You, and I'm talking to you, you are gorgeous and generous and sweet and loving and kind and caring. You are innately valuable to this universe, as all of us are. And it has nothing to do with the amount of money in your bank account. It has nothing to do with the number of zeros after the fee that you charge. They're completely disconnected. If you want to charge high fees, it's a choice you can make. It's a choice you don't have to make. If you want to buy a pen, you can buy a Bic for about 20 pence. maybe less than $1. What's this one? A Pilot. You can get a Pilot pen for about $1. I like these pens. You can get a Mont Blanc pen that costs hundreds. You could spend thousands. I saw a $20,000 Mont Blanc pen once. You get to choose. One of my mentors likes to drink expensive vodka. This vodka he drinks, Clix, C-L-I-X. And Clix is the Latin for the, I think for 159, which is the number of times it's distilled. Except vodka is tasteless and odorless, and there are government regulations that vodka has to fit into. So there's really hardly any difference between the cheapest vodka and the most expensive vodka. Most of it's really choice. And how do you decide you want to invest your money?
For most of human history, it wasn't called coaching, it was called leadership. And it's what I love to do, to coach people, to lead people, and to mess with people's thinking. If you'd like more of this, or if you'd like to learn more about our community of extraordinary top performers, go to richlitvin.com/oneinsight.